Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video we are going to be going over the new classic battle set that just came out today. I'm not doing a full unboxing here, like first time reaction. Me and my buddy Parker are starting another channel that we're going to be doing like co-content on, called the Crack Bobble. So if you want to check it out, I'll put a link to the channel in the description below. We're going to be uploading videos, including our box opening and gameplay video for you all today. I just wanted on my channel to kind of go through like my thoughts on the deck, like my personal thoughts, and just kind of, have some fun with y'all. Also, for anyone who is watching this video, this is super important. I'm going to be doing my giveaway on this video for the Mask of Momentum and for the other cards that I tweeted out about, as well as posted on my YouTube community. So if you want a chance at getting this Mask of Momentum white border, it's currently valued at like a little over $100 right now. So it's a pretty nice card, and it's just mask. I pulled one of these when I was opening my history packs, and I wanted to be able to give it away to people and just have some fun with it. So I'm going to be giving this away, as well as giving away a couple other cards, like some kind of like sub fun cards to do. Like Mask will be the main one, and that'll be one entry, but you'll also have a chance to win some other lower tier cards that are really good, like Glint, 3 of a Kind, Fine Center, and Gorganian Tome. All you gotta do is comment below on this video, and I will pick random winners. I'll use a random generator, so no favorites, no nothing. And I'll probably announce that winner probably on the next video. Actually, not on the next video. Whatever video today is the 27th, which is a Friday. Whatever video goes out on my probably Monday when I do my reactions or predictions to Uprising, I'll announce the winner on that video. So please be on the lookout for that. It'll be on Monday on the Uprising reaction video. Just be prepared for that. So now that's out of the way, make sure y'all enter. It'd be a really awesome opportunity. This is the box. I already opened it. I ordered another box that I'm not going to open. I'm just going to shelf and have for safekeeping. So I wasn't too crazy with how I opened this. Plus, I'm just really bad at opening boxes. But I don't know if you can see it from here. You can. So it's a foil box, which is really awesome. And on the back, it kind of shows about like the lore of Reprise and Intimidate, King of the Jungle, the Dawnblade, Spread the Light, and Strong Survive. So it's like more lore based stuff, and it's geared for new players. This is definitely, I think when they first released this, a lot of people were expecting it to be like half new player oriented, half collector oriented. But now I think after seeing all the cards, and we'll go over here in a second, it's definitely new player oriented. So first one we'll go into is my old girl Darynthia. If anyone's a fan of the channel, I've done like Axes Darynthia. I ran Darynthia Axes at the Battle Hardened, and just really love this hero as a whole. So now we have a new version of Darynthia Quicksilver Prodigy. It's like a young version, obviously the hero, but she's honestly like, I would say like in her late 20s, early 30s instead of like super young, right? Really good, really nice. It's cold foil. You can't quite tell it. The camera's not doing it justice. But it's foil around the edges and all through here and everything. And they basically changed her hero ability. So it reads: the first time Dawnblade Resplendent, which is the new weapon, attack gains go again each turn, you may attack with additional time. So basically they changed it to where instead of Dory's ability being, if a weapon hits this turn, you may attack with it again, they basically made it to where as long as you can give it go again, it can attack again. So they simplified the ability a little bit more. It doesn't have the +1 counters that Dawnblade, the original Dawnblade, has, but it does have, if you get go again, you can attack with it again. It's a 1 resource for 2, which isn't that good. And then the second time it'll be a 1 resource for 3. So essentially over the whole course of your turn, it's a 2 resource for 5. So not insane, but not bad either. I think you definitely could build like a decent deck around it. One thing to note for anybody that's new to the game or, is trying to think about the game, these are Majestics, so these cannot be used in Commoner. So this story cannot be used in Commoner, and neither can the Blade. Just keep that in mind as, we go through this. But yeah, so getting into the equipment here, pretty standard, right? Iron Rot. They're all foils, which is really awesome. You have the 2 Iron Rots, which people make fun of at first, but like 3, 4, 5 years from now, like maybe even longer, it's gonna be kind of cool to have like a master set of like generic foiled equipment. It's really fun. So definitely nothing to scoff at. And then the 2 kind of cool pieces are, there's a foil Gallantry Gold. So if you don't have a foil Gallantry Gold, that's good for you. And then the new Blossom of Spring. So this is basically like a poor man's tunic. It's not an instant, it's an action, but basically you pop this at any time, you gain 1 resource, and it has go again. So a poor man's version of Tunic. So if you don't own Tunic, and with Heart and Cross Trap being banned in Blitz, like if you don't want to run Deep Blue, this would be good just to have one resource. You know, it's like an Ether Iron Weave, but not for Runeblade, basically. Really nice though. I really like it. Overall, pretty nice with the equipment, pretty standard. And for new players, it's actually really good. Like really good equipment set for a new player oriented product, right? And then also they had the full art version of Dory, which is really dope. And then finally the Mentor card, which I'll count this in the 40 card deck. Obviously, this is where the 40 card deck starts. So the Mentor is Hala Goldenheim Helm, Hala Golden Helm. And basically it reads, when it's face down your arsenal at the start of your turn, you may paste it face up. Whenever a sword attack you control hits, it gains go again automatically, and put a lesson counter on Hala. If there's 2 or more lesson counters, then you go and get the new specialization, which is Glistening Steelblade. Glistening Steelblade. So these two pair together. This is really nice because the sword attacks for 2, right? And normally it wouldn't have go again if it hit, but when Hala is an arsenal, it's going to have go again automatically. So no one wants to block a 2 attack, like, you know, sword, but with that in arsenal, they're kind of forced to block if they don't want to get go again. And then you play attack reactions and things of that nature. So, and then once it has 2 counters, you go get Glistening Steelblade, which is the new specialization. I actually think this card will see play. Your next Dawnblade attack this turn gains go again, and whenever Dawnblade hits a hero this turn, put a +1 counter on it. I think it'll be good for pumping up the generic Dawnblade build to 1 cost. Play this off like a Tunic resource, or play if you're using Courage, and that's different. But you know, you pop Courage, you play this, pop Courage, and then it has go again, and Dawnblade will have a +1 counter. If you already have 1 or 2 counters on it, it will be even better. I think this will see play, to be honest with you. But we'll put these back in the back portion of the deck. I section these decks off into old cards versus new cards. So that way, if any new players are watching, you can kind of see how this works. So the way the Dory deck works is it's 40 cards, and they did it to where there's 22 reprints and 18 new cards, right? So we'll go through the reprints, and I won't go over each one because if you're a new player, like, you're not going to know a difference anyway. But they have Warrior's Valor, which gives your attack +3 and your weapon attack on hit go again. Sharpened Steel is a +3 buff. Iron Song Response is kind of an older card. Second Swing. Flock of the Featherwalkers, which is actually really good in Dawnblade. In the Swing. Slice and Dice. Driving Blade. Out for Blood. Sigil of Solace. And Hit and Run. So like there's 22 reprints in the 40 card deck. The key cards here that you're going to really like. Warrior's Valor is actually really good as it pertains to like this matchup with Rhino versus Darynthia. It's basically going to make Dawnblade go hit for 5. And if it hits, it gains go again, which Reinhardt doesn't really want to block, so it's really good against that. In the Swing is really good as well. It basically gives your second sword +3. So, you know, you attack with Dawnblade, give it go again. You attack with it again for 3, give it +3, so you're attacking for 6. Slice and Dice is really good. And then your other key card is Hit and Run, which gives your sword automatic go again. So that's really good. So overall, not too bad on the reprints. Nothing crazy. And then they have 18 new cards here. So the number 1 is the Mentor Right and the Glistening Steelblade, which we talked about. And then at red, we have En Garde, which is a warrior action, gives your next weapon +3. This is basically like a worse Sharpened Steel. So it's basically a reprint for the most part as far as ability is concerned, but it's 1 cost instead of 0 cost. So there's other cards in the game already, like Outland Skirmish and like Sharpened Steel, that are better than this. But for new players, like, it's good to see other cards. You have Thrust here, which is so there's a couple cards. There's 6 cards in here, right? And here's 4 of them that are very key. So these 4 are new cards, right? And they come in this Darynthia deck, but they're generic. So these can be used with Rune Blades. Anyone that has a sword. So Rune Blades, it can be used with Bolton. It can be used with let's hope Ninja gets a sword that's not Talishar. Would be really good to use this on, right? So this doesn't just tied to just Dory. So you have Thrust, which target sword gains +3. It's attack reaction, so it's basically a +3 buff on your sword. You have On a Knife's Edge, which your next sword attack gains go again at 0 cost. It's a yellow, block 2. And then going back to the Warriors stuff, you have Run Through, which is target sword gains go again, and your next sword this turn gains +2. This is a really good card for this deck specifically because you're going to give your first Dawnblade go again, and then your second Dawnblade is going to hit for 5. So right now you're at 3 resources for 7, which isn't amazing, but it's pretty good. Visit the blacksmith, another generic card, so this can be used in more than just story. Your next sword attack this turn gains +1 at blue. So you could use this again in Runeblade and Bolton and Ninja. Really good for that. Then you have Toughen Up, which is one of like the least good cards out of the new ones. It's a defense reaction. It defends for 4, but it costs 2 to play. There's just other better defense reactions in the game right now, like Sink Below, Paper Scene, stuff like that, Flick Flack. But this does the job for new players for sure. Then you have Blade Flash, which is your next sword. Your target sword gains Go Again. This is basically a Blade Runner without the buff. So it gives your target sword Go Again, and that's it. And then the Titanium Baubles, which is really dope. It's basically like Cracked Bauble, except it's a blue pitch instead of yellow pitch, and it actually blocks for 3. So I really like these. I hope these are going to be an uprising because, I mean, at the very least, if you can't fill out your 40 card deck, you get a blue block 3, you know, to fill your deck, which is really dope. So overall, the Dory deck's pretty good. 22 reprints, 18 new cards. We'll talk about like Dory versus Reinhardt and like which deck I think is better in this box in a second once we review Reinhardt. But overall, really happy with it. Definitely for new players, it's amazing. If you're a new player, this is a good way to start. I definitely recommend getting this and maybe like 1 or 2 of the cheap Blitz decks for like $8 a piece. You spend $50, you get like 3 or 4 decks with a playmat and with the lore and everything else. Just really nice overall. So that's Darynthia. We'll put her up there. And then we have Reinhardt. So Reinhardt is really good. So here's Reinhardt. Nothing changed about him. Basically, his ability is whenever you discard a card with 6 or more during your action phase, Intimidate. For any new players who aren't aware what that means, it basically means like if I'm up against you and you're playing Reinhardt and I have 4 cards in hand and you trigger Intimidate, you get to pick at random one of the cards to be set aside, and then I cannot use that card on my defensive turn. And I can't pick it back up until I go to offense. So you basically get less cards to block with. So with Reinhardt, you're trying to trigger multiple Intimidates, so they have less cards to block with, and then you come in with a lot of damage. But yeah, they have Reinhardt here. And you have Bone Basher, which some people aren't very happy about this card. It is cold foil, which is really dope, but it basically is like a worse romping club, to be honest. But for new players, again, this isn't meant to make decks better currently. This is meant for new players, and I think people need to realize that. For the equipment, we have Bone Visor, which is really dope. When it's destroyed, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's 6 or more, put it on the bottom of your deck. If it's 6 or more, put it to the top of your deck. Otherwise put it at the bottom. Basically what this is for is that if it gets destroyed, which you either have to destroy it basically on your defense with this card, it basically prevents you from having to maybe have to whiff on a reveal, because some of these cards say like reveal the top card of your deck if it's 6 or more, Intimidate, and this basically allows you to somewhat maybe check and make sure you're not going to whiff on that Intimidate, because there's some cards in here that are not 6 or more. They also have Blossom of Spring, just like Dory does, Ironhide Gauntlet, and Ironhide Legs. The reason that Reinhardt has Ironhide Legs for any new players rather than Iron Rot, like Dory does, is because Reinhardt has some cards that just don't block in his deck, but they can pitch. So basically the way these two equipment work is you pitch 1 resource and you gain the ability to block with them, and they each block for 2. So if he has like a Wild Ride in hand, which you'll see here in a second, it doesn't block for anything, but it's a yellow. So if you pitch it, then you can use it to block with these. So that's how that works. So that's the equipment set. I mean, it's a really good equipment set for Reinhardt, to be honest. Definitely nothing to scoff at, to be honest. So then you have the attacks. So and then the full art Reinhardt, which on the back of this also explains the Intimidate mechanic to you if you're not new to the game, if you are new to the game. But the full art Reinhardt is pretty sick. And then we have Reinhardt's mentor. So Reinhardt's mentor is Chief Rakutan, I think. Rakutan. So he reads when you turn face up in your arsenal, whenever you play a card with 6 or more, you automatically Intimidate, and you put a lesson counter on him. Once you put 2 lesser counters on him, you banish him and then go get Alpha Rampage and put it in your arsenal. This is really nice because a lot of Reinhardt's attacks already Intimidate. So basically, if this is in your arsenal and you play an attack that already intimidates, you're going to double Intimidate. So it's really nice. It's really good. Definitely a good one to do. And like I said, with this deck, there are only 14 new cards and 26 reprints, right? If I'm doing the math correctly on that. So it's a little not as nice as Darynthia as far as new cards are concerned. Because Alpha Rampage is is not a new card, unlike Glistening Steelblade. But yeah, you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 new cards, if I'm reading that correctly. So Alpha Rampage is really good, though, for a specialization. Basically, as additional cost to pay Alpha Rampage, you discard a card, and then when you attack with Alpha Rampage, you Intimidate. So if you discard, it's a 3 cost. So basically, you pitch a blue, you discard a 6 level attack, which will Intimidate. Then he intimidates. Then if you have your lesson counter or your mentor in, like we just said, then that will intimidate too. So if you can get your mentor in arsenal and then attack with Alpha Rampage, you could triple intimidate and be hitting him for 9. So it's really nice for that. So definitely deal a lot of damage. We have Awakening Bellow, just a really good. These are your reprints. So you have 1 Alpha Rampage, 2 Awakening Bellow, gives your next blue attack action +3, and you intimidate. Wild Ride, which is a newer Reinhardt card. Basically, if you discard a card after you draw a card, then discard a random card. If you discard a card with 6, it gains Go Again. You have Bear Fangs, another one, same as Wild Ride, except instead of getting Go Again, it gets +2. Then you have Pack Hunt, which is just a good 2 cost, 6 attack card that intimidates. Broadgene Beatdown, yellow. And then we start getting into the generics, and this is where the Reinhardt deck isn't as great, but I mean, you're new to the game. You got to get used to the generics. So you have Wounded Bull, Raging Onslaught. You have Smash a Big Tree. They took the text out, basically. Another 2 cost 6. You have Smash Instinct, which is a really good reprint. I mean, this is a staple in any Reinhardt deck. It's a 3 cost 6 attack that automatically intimidates. And then you have the blues, which is Come to Fight, basically a 3-block blue that pitches. Wrecker Romp, which is a really good blue. It's a 2 cost for 6, and you discard random cards so you can intimidate off that. And then you have Rally the Rear Guard, right? So, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 year cards, 25 year cards are reprints. And then we're going to have 15 cards that are new. So we have the Mentor, which we talked about. Then we have Beast Mode, which is if you intimidate this turn, Beast Mode gains +2. So if you play like a Wild Ride or something, and then you're able to play Beast Mode, it could be 8, possibly. Then you have Wrecking Ball, which is when you attack with Wrecking Ball, draw a card, then discard a random card. If that card is 6 or more, intimidate. So it's just another 3 cost for 6. You have Muscle Mutt, which is 3 cost 6. Pack Call. If you defend with Pack Call, reveal a top card of your deck. If it's 6 or more, put it on the top of your deck, otherwise put it on the bottom. So you're able to defend with this card while also kind of setting up your next turn, making sure you're not going to whiff. Make sure you're getting a 6 power attack. We have the Titanium Baubles, obviously. You have Dodge, which is a 2 power defense or 2 defense reaction at 0 cost, and then Clearing Bellow, which is Intimidate. So you basically get a free Intimidate, and it's a block blue. It doesn't cost anything, and you can pitch it. So overall, both decks are awesome. Thematically, they're great. For new players, they're great. And I think that's what people need to look at this through the lens of. People need to try like heck not to look at this through the lens of, like, as a seasoned player, like, what do I get out of this deck? Like, that's just the wrong way to look at it. You're selling the deck short, and you're selling the purpose short if you do that. For new decks, if we're talking about new decks for new players, they're great. They give people an idea in the Intimidate. I actually wish they would have put more reprise effects in Darynthia, because people need to learn the Darynthia reprise effect. I think the only thing that has reprise in this is Iron Song Response, and I think that's it. Oh, Out for Blood. So 4 cards have a reprise effect. And yeah, 4 cards have a reprise effect. So maybe put a couple more reprise effects in there would have been nice, but it's not too bad. Overall, definitely enjoying it. You'll see the gameplay over on the Crack Bobble. Definitely check that out. Check out our first reactions to it overall. But if you're a new player, this is fantastic. Definitely get these. It also comes with a lore booklet, which is really awesome. Flesh and Blood's lore is amazing, and it already gives you kind of an idea into that. So hey, quit. Sorry, the dogs get a little rowdy. So yep, definitely enjoy the lore book. It has a dual side play mat for you and your buddy to play on. It's paper, but it's really nice to kind of understand like where all the slots are, similar to like how mine are, but they're spelt out like what each one is for. So that's really nice. Yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed it, the video, but also enjoy this product. I highly suggest getting it, even if you're like a casual player like that's played before. Like the cold foils are super nice. some of the new cards are super nice, so definitely get those and let me know what you think. But yeah, hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day. I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Don't forget, comment down below so you can get a chance to enter the Mask Momentum giveaway. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much.